Marriage today is often described as a failed institution. And yet we have to ask ourselves, is that statement true? We hear it from all sorts of different people, but sadly, there is in fact little truth in that statement. Marriage has been known universally as the foundation of society for thousands of years. Most religions encourage marriage as the foundation of life and family. And yet we've seen over the last 30 years a dramatic undermining of the whole idea of marriage. Another group in society on the issue of marriage are clambering to secure marriage for their particular lifestyle, and they're people from a same-sex lifestyle. Why at one stage are we clamouring to call it a failed institution, and another group are clamouring for it? We need to understand these issues if we're going to truly appreciate what marriage is really all about and understand the political agenda behind these groups of people. Many years ago, marriage started to decline in our society, and it was largely because of a man named Lionel Murphy, who decided to bring in a new Marriage Act and make divorce easy. When we look behind the life of Lionel Murphy, we find that he was totally anti-Christian, and he had ideas, humanist ideas, about society. And so he decided to make it almost a personal vendetta against marriage to bring down the status of marriage. Easy divorce was introduced in the mid-70s, and since then we have heard nothing but marriage is declining, marriage is declining. It's interesting if we look firstly at the statistics. We often hear 30 to 50% of marriages are breaking down. And often that statistic is used to show how marriage is irrelevant today. The real fact is that there are 4.5 million marriages in Australia, married couples in Australia. 4.5 million, of which less than 50,000 break down every year. Now 50,000 is a lot, and it's too many, but it's only 1.5% of all marriages in Australia. Hardly a statistic that suggests marriage is a failure. We also need to realise that if a person of 21 gets married today, there's a 70% or more chance that that marriage will actually last a lifetime. So we need to really look at the statistics that we're given and the reasons behind people saying marriage is a failed institution. It's ironic too that those who want to clamour for marriage, the homosexuals, the lesbians, are all pushing for same-sex marriage, and yet behind the scenes they also say marriage is a failed institution, mainly because they listen to the sort of statistics or the divorce rates that are quoted. The idea of same-sex marriage is not about marriage, it's about equality. They don't want marriage, and the take-up rates for registered relationships and civil unions is extremely small. So why do they clamour for marriage? It's all about equality. It's sad that the basic institution of society today is being used and abused by various people for their own ends, because this will ultimately be detrimental to the whole of society. We need to understand marriage's value. We need to understand the importance of married life. We need to understand that people that are married live longer, are usually wealthier, and always happier than many unmarried people. We need to value marriage. Otherwise, society as we know it will be drastically undermined, and we will not have the sort of society that we really want in this nation.